Welcome to You Can Call Me Goddess, because you're so much more than a queen. My name is Manuk Vink. I am a trained intuitive energy healer specialized in transforming your body and your life. In this podcast, we are going to be diving into everything to unlock the goddess that you are within you. Think of it as the ultimate glow up from the inside out. It's time to unlock your power. It's time to unlock your magic. So sit back and enjoy the show. Hello guys. Welcome back to another episode of You Can Call Me Goddess. In this podcast, as you know, we are diving into how you can start embodying the true powerful goddess that you have within you. We're discussing intuition, we're discussing your body, how to achieve the results that you desire through tapping into your body energetically, through understanding universal laws, through understanding intuition and all of that jazz, so that you can fully step into your power and achieve the results that you desire in your life. And so what came to me just now that we should start talking about on today's podcast is a massive one, and I think we've all dealt with it in multiple ways, and that is rejection. And I'm sure if you're listening to this, you have experienced rejection in your life before. And why we're going to be talking about this is because it all ties in with self-image healing. So in previous podcasts, we have discussed how self-image healing is literally the key to manifesting everything that you desire in your life. Everything comes down to how you perceive yourself. So why I'm talking about rejection is because we are all familiar with that feeling, with the feeling of feeling rejected and why that could be happening. And me, before I met my current boyfriend, I have been through many situationships with guys. And I'm sure you guys all know that feeling of, you really liking a guy, and the moment you really like them, they disappear, or they start ghosting you. They start rejecting you. Like, I've literally had a situation where I was dating this guy, and I was totally infatuated with this guy. And then he came to my house and he sat next to me on the sofa, and I thought, maybe something's gonna happen now. And he sat next to me and he turned to me and he literally said to me, "I'm sorry, Manuk, but I just don't really feel like I want to jump your bones right now. I don't have that feeling with you. Like, I don't feel like I want to jump your bones." So immediately, obviously, as a woman, as me struggling with my body image, as me struggling with my self-image, that hit me hard. Like, I was like, oh my God, what the hell? Like, here we are having all this chemistry, all this connection, and you're telling me that you don't want to jump me, and that's it. So where do we go from here? And so obviously I told him to leave. Like, he was like, "Do you want me to leave now?" I was like, "Yeah, get the F out of here." So basically, that had been a reoccurring theme in my relationships. And actually, right up until my current relationship, within my relationship, I was struggling with rejection. Like, my current partner would reject me, even intimately and things like that. So this is a battle that I have been struggling with most of my life. And why we're touching upon this is because I'm going to tell you what's actually going on, how you can start shifting this, because I have. And also, I'm going to talk to you about how all of these things that are happening to you in relationships, and that are happening to you, in relationships, so friendships, relationships, in your family, work, things like that, when you're feeling rejected, what is actually happening? Why does that constantly happen? Because I also know that no matter which guy I dated, I would get ghosted, or I would be rejected in one way or another. And it doesn't have to do with the guy most of the time. It actually has to do with you and how you view yourself. And that is, we're going back into the law of reflections, which we've spoken about when it comes to the body. And now we're going to kind of talk about it when we're speaking about relationships and everything else in the universe. So basically, who knows, who recognizes that feeling, right, of being rejected? I'm sure a bunch of you listening to this are like, yes, why is that always happening to me? Why are guys such assholes? Why do they ghost me? Why do I feel rejected? Why is all of this going on? So everybody obviously has like a specific blueprint, energetic blueprint, and a specific situation going on, and feelings of their own, and struggles of their own, and their own stories, and what they struggle with. So with me, body image has been, and that is why it's something that I'm very passionate about, and that is why I'm so driven by getting you to finally love your body and see your body for being perfect. Body image was a massive thing for me. And that's why I also competed in bodybuilding competitions. You know, it all stems from an insecurity of not feeling good enough, not feeling beautiful enough, not having the right body, right? So that was a big journey for me. So obviously, when a guy rejects me, I immediately thought I was undesirable. Like there's something wrong with my body. Who recognizes that feeling? That feeling of like, oh my God, it must be because he thinks I'm too fat, or it must be because I'm not good looking enough, or maybe he's just not that into me. I'll give you another example. I was actually kind of like, how do you say, kind of like not really dating, but seeing this guy here and there for a while. And he even turned to me and literally said to me, because we had this like conversation, and we were like saying, he was like, so what is your type actually? I was like, and obviously, like, what would you say? Like, obviously, okay, yeah, tall, dark, handsome, muscular, but I can also go for like a blonde, baby face, kind of this kind of look, kind of like you, right? That's what I said. So of course, I go and ask the same question to the guy. I go, so what's your type? Yeah, I like petite blondes. Okay, cool. If you can see me on YouTube right now, or if you know me at all, I mean, I guess check out even my podcast icon. I am not a petite blonde. I'm a brunette. I'm not petite. I am tall, and I'm quite curvy and muscular. So when someone says you're like, when you're dating a guy, and I've had this few times actually, I think my current boyfriend even said, yeah, normally I go for petite blondes. What am I doing here then? You know, but this is all reflective, like, and that would hit home, because like they wouldn't even be like, yeah, but sometimes I go for brunettes or something like that. It would be just like, yeah, petite blondes. And I'd be like, that's literally the opposite of what I am. So what are we doing, right? So I'm sure we can all recognize these stories. And that's why I think it's an important thing to touch upon, because we all struggle with rejection in one way or another. And so now I guess we're going to get a little bit personal when it comes to intimacy as well, like being rejected in that form, like when you want to like be intimate with your partner and they reject you and they turn you away. Like, I think, speaking from my perspective as a woman, it's like the worst thing, because even if you think about it, like historically, like biologically, like, you know, we have been told that the man should always want the woman, right? That like, so if that's not happening, then what the hell is going on? Like what's going wrong in this situation? So there is multiple things that are going on. I'm going to dive into a few of these things, but what you need to understand is that it all comes down to your self-image. Again, your self-image, your body image, it's all interlinked. How you view yourself is how others are going to view you, is how others are going to respond and react to you, because they are responding to your energy, to what you're broadcasting out. And that's because the universe is always wanting us to up level. Our higher selves are always wanting us to become bigger, better, stronger versions of ourselves. And the only way to do that is through obstacles. And obstacles force us to have to like look and see, why is this obstacle coming up? What do I need to do to change this? Because we have to get to a certain point, which I'm sure a lot of us have been to, a point where we're like, fuck this. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like, why am I dealing with this? Like, why can't I find a man that fully appreciates me? Why is this constantly happening to me? So you start soul searching, because after looking outward for long enough, you're going to find, hey, outward is not the answer. I got to go within. I got to see what is going on with me. Like, why is this happening? Sorry if there's like a random cut in between here. I'm having trouble, and this is also a reflection, which we'll be diving into, with the memory card. For some reason, it's saying, I don't know. I don't even know what that means. So we're trying a new memory card, and we're going to hope that we're going to continue with this. So basically, why is this happening? Why are you constantly getting rejected? Like, what is happening that you're attracting these situations into your life? So first thing you need to understand is, I understand that maybe you're tired of wanting to constantly be the one that is taking control. Like, why is it always my fault? Why do I always have to do the work? Why this? Why that? Why this? Let's flip that, first of all, and let's see how that's actually very empowering, because that means that because they're responding to your energy, that means that you are the creator of everything that is happening around you. So when you shift your energy, you have the power to shift everything. You have literally creator power to change everything to how you like it, to how you want it, when you start understanding these principles. With that, so I want you to realize that, like, you get to decide. You get to play the game how you want to play the game of life by deciding how people are going to respond to you, by checking and changing your energetic field. And that is the beauty and the power of this work. So, as we discussed in previous episodes, your body reflects to you, mirrors to you where there are imbalances. So whatever's going on in the body, your body's trying to tell you where there's an emotional imbalance, where you need to shift things. It's not only the body that does that, because the universe is always working in your favor. The universe always wants to help guide you. It wants to up-level you. It wants you to, like we said, become the best version of yourself, get you to do what needs to be done, what you're meant to be doing in this lifetime. And to get there, you need to start shifting things. So partners are also one way that the universe is communicating to you. It is called, as we discussed, this is also the law of reflections. So whatever you believe about yourself, you're broadcasting out. So basically, if you're constantly telling yourself a thought, like, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, not only does that manifest in your body, but it manifests in your external world. So basically, you got to imagine, like, those words start becoming like these broadcasts that you're sending out. And when people, those beliefs, when they're around you, they pick up that broadcast, and they basically start showing you what you feel about yourself. So it's like a script that you're handing out to people around you. So they pick up that script, and in the script it says, oh, this character isn't good enough. She feels not good enough. So we're going to make sure that she plays her character well, and therefore we're going to make sure she believes she's not good enough or she's undesirable. Right? So then what happens with these guys that you're dating, they pick up that script, and they don't know that they're doing this. It's subconscious, but they're like, oh, we need to ghost her. Oh, we need to reject her so that, she starts seeing that she feels like she's not good enough, so that she does something about it, so that she starts shifting that internal belief of not feeling good enough. I totally understand. This can be confusing. Feel free to comment, contact, everything if you want to understand more about this stuff. We do have a free membership where we dive into more of this, and we host free Q&As. But I understand this is a lot of information to digest, because this means that you have the power to shift everything. This means that if you change the script that you're handing out, you're going to have guys like chomping at the bit to be with you, because it has nothing to do with you, because you are perfect. You have everything. There is nothing wrong with you. It is just the belief system that you are telling yourself, and therefore the universe is telling you the exact same thing, right? So then the difficult part comes into play. So basically, you could be going, yeah, but Manouk, I don't see that. Like, I feel like I'm sexy. I feel like I'm good enough. I feel like I'm desirable. Okay. But have you checked all the areas of life? You may feel desirable physically. You may feel desirable as like a good friend. You may feel desirable at work, but do you feel desirable when when someone how do you say wants to pay you, for example? Like, what if you don't feel like people desire to pay you for the work that you do? So for example, you have a business and you're like, I don't feel like people desire the work that I'm giving. I don't feel like people value the work that I do. So there, if you're feeling undesirable in that area of life, your partner is still going to reflect to you that you feel like you're undesirable. Because one way or another, whether it be through your body, whether it be through your relationship, the universe is going to try and let you know that there is an emotional imbalance. So the more you feel something about yourself, the more you're going to get that reflected back at you from partners, from friends, from work, right? So, for example, this could be the same way. If you feel like people don't desire your work, you could get that. It could actually be a sign of you not feeling desirable in your relationship, right? So it all comes down to how you view yourself. So I want you to start thinking about, I'm sure we all know this feeling of, and I know that because I battle this constantly and I still am, the feeling that I'm doing everything, but I'm not getting out of it what I feel like I deserve, right? So for example, in your relationship, you're like, why am I not being appreciated for everything that I'm doing right now? That's because you feel that way in another area of life. And when you shift that, everything else starts to shift. So that means any relationship that you are in, any situationship that you are in, is trying to communicate to you where there is an imbalance. So that guy isn't rejecting you because you aren't good enough. That guy isn't rejecting you because he doesn't desire you. That guy isn't ghosting you because there's something wrong with you. No, it's happening because the universe wants you to realize that you feel that way about yourself. And although you may not feel that way about yourself in the physical sense or in the romantic sense, you feel that way about yourself in another area of life. And this is always the case. So this is always happening. So when you feel like you're being rejected or not desired or anything along those lines, that means that you feel that way about yourself in one way or another. So what this is showing you is that you actually are being hard on yourself in an area and you're not seeing your full potential in your full power. And therefore you're struggling finding the perfect relationship. Therefore you're struggling to find your perfect match because you're not seeing the value that you carry as a person, as a woman, as who you are across the board, right? So in all areas of life. And that is an important one because we seem to skip this. We seem to look at the top 4 areas of life. We look at health, we look at financial, we look at career, and we look at relationship. But you're skipping 4 other areas of life, and that is your hobbies, that is your vocation. Wait, did I say vocation? Vocation, yeah, vocation. I forgot to mention. No, I call it career, but it's actually your vocation, and your vocation is your destiny, basically what you're meant to be doing on this planet. But you're skipping your hobbies. You're skipping social. Did we mention that? Yeah, social. And you're skipping mental and spiritual. All of those areas of life also play a massive role. And there needs to be a balance in all those areas of life. Otherwise, you're going to have something in your world reflecting to you that there is an imbalance, right? And that is the beauty of this. It is actually, you can already start shifting things by being grateful for the fact that this is showing up, because this is showing up to show you that you can up level, to show you there's an obstacle that you can overcome. And after you overcome that obstacle, you become way more powerful. Plus, you can see that you are literally the creator of everything in your life. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of me and my partner. We argued almost every single night before I started working through all of this. And it was every single night, arguments. And I didn't understand. I was like, why is this constantly happening to me? I don't want to deal with this anymore. He doesn't see my value. He doesn't understand all the work that I'm doing. He doesn't see how much I do. He doesn't even desire me. Like, it was everything. And so I was highly emotional about it. And of course, it was all on him, right? It was all him. It was all his fault. Once I realized that it actually was me creating all of this, creating this situation, I realized I had the power to shift all of this. So I started rooting to the fact that I was valuable, that I was desirable. I started rooting to the fact that I was the most amazing partner that he could have, right? I started rooting to all of that. And from one day to the next, the arguments stopped. They stopped because the moment he would say something, I would start thinking, how am I creating this? What is causing me to create this situation? Where is the imbalance? So instead of being angry with the fact that he wasn't appreciating me, I would go and look, where am I not appreciating myself? And take responsibility for that. And then start shifting that, because it is just superpowers. It is literally just you tapping into where the shift needs to be made. And you will see how much power you have when you do this, because then you see that you have the power to shift everything. You have the power to shift absolutely everything. And as we discussed in previous episodes, you can shift your body, but not only your body, you can shift your reality. You can shift your relationships. You can shift your dating situations and realize that they are just reading the script that you are handing out. And when you change the script, everything will change. Does that make sense? I know it's a lot to wrap your head around, but a lot of the time, this is why I say self-image healing is literally the key to you achieving everything that you desire in your life. Because it all comes down to how you view yourself and how you treat yourself. Because how you treat yourself is how others are going to treat yourself. And that is just a universal law. That is just how it is. And you will start seeing that as truth when you start experimenting with this and when you start realizing that that is actually what is happening. And it is wild, because that means you have full power over how this game of life goes. That's how I see it. I see it as a game. And so next time you're feeling rejected by someone that you're dating or talking to, I want you to ask yourself, first of all, how is this rejection making me feel? Because yes, it could make you feel rejected, but on a deeper level, does it make you feel undesirable? Does it make you feel unvalued? Does it make you feel not good enough? I want you to go through those statements and I want you to ask which one is the one that hits home most for you. So for me, a big one was undesirable, and I think also not good enough. And for me, a lot of the time the reflection was very much physical. So I very much felt like, because I was always worried about my looks more than anything else, and feeling like I wasn't pretty enough, sexy enough, or any of that. So that links back to like desirable and value, right? And my value was linked to my physical looks, my appearance. So then where do I feel like that is the case in other areas, right? So then you can go in there and see, okay, where else do I feel undesirable? And is that the truth? And then you got to go in and you got to realize if it is the truth or not, and then start seeing how it's not the truth. And when you start rooting to the fact that the opposite is true, things start shifting immediately. They really, really do. And now I know for a fact that it has nothing to do with my physical looks. whether my partner desires me or not. It has everything to do with other areas of life where I am feeling undesirable. And by undesirable, like maybe someone doesn't, I feel like maybe someone doesn't desire the services that I provide, the work that I do, and so then you got to start seeing how that's not true. And then things start shifting. And what I want to show you with this is that a lot of the stuff that is happening when it comes to you dating and things with your partners and relationships, we often give up on dating because we blame it on the guy. And that doesn't mean that all guys are amazing and perfect. Of course not. There are still like people out there that aren't great and that aren't your match, right? Because otherwise everybody would be your match. But how you're being affected by it always tells you a story about where the emotional imbalance lies. So if the thing, what I would have a lot of the time is I would think I was going crazy because I would be dating someone and I could clearly feel that they were interested in me. And I could clearly feel that they desired me, right? And then when what they said to me or what they did to me didn't match what I felt in the energetic exchange of us, I was like, am I absolutely nuts? Like, is my intuition so off that I am not catching the fact that he's not into me? Like that he doesn't desire me, right? And that's the mind fuck because in actual fact, your intuition is on point. You know when you're dating someone and you feel that chemistry, you know when you desire each other. And never ever question that. What they say doesn't always match up with what they feel. But they are reading your energetic field. So in that moment where the guy says, I just don't feel like I want to jump your bones, they're picking up on the script that I have where I'm not feeling good enough. They're picking up that script and they're reading out the script to me and going, Manouk doesn't feel good enough, so we need to make sure that she realizes there's something she needs to shift there, right? And so what happens then, obviously, like if you don't understand that's going on, you're going to keep looking outside of yourself for that validation. So what I would do is I would need to hear from the other person that I was desirable, that I wasn't going crazy. I needed that confirmation that I was right, that my intuition was right, that I knew that the guy was interested in me, right? That I knew that I wasn't going absolutely insane. But when you realize you can't get that confirmation from outside, because even when you get that confirmation from the guy, it doesn't shift what is actually going on internally and it doesn't change the situation because you haven't worked on the internal issue of not feeling good enough. Because that rejection for me would sometimes feel like the end of the world. That means it was a very big thing, a big reflection for me to deal with. It was a very big self-love gap that took me years to get over. It took me years because I constantly looked for a man to validate how I looked, right? To validate to me that I was good enough. When all I needed to do was validate to myself that I was good enough. And if you constantly give that power to someone else, then you're never going to feel it from within. And when you start feeling it from within, that's when everything starts to change. That's when you become magnetic, right? That is why, well, that's a different universal law. The law of opposing forces is basically like when you want something too much, you actually push it away. That needy energy drives things away. So when you're in a relation, or when you desire a guy or like a guy and you're like really needing like contact from that person, what happens? That person feels that needy energy and pushes you away. And I've been on the other end of that where I felt that needy energy and I was like, ugh, get away from me. It's unattractive. And we can go down a whole rabbit hole with that because, yeah, when you start shifting that as well, you become more attractive. Things become more attracted to you because you're not running after it, like chasing after it. So there are multiple things at play here, but a big part of it is you become more magnetic when you start, seeing your value. And then there's obviously, if you know the programs, if you're in any of my programs, we dive into basically so reflections show you where the imbalances lie. And then you've got something called ingredients, basically like a cake, right? You have ingredients to bake a cake, to make the perfect cake. You have the same energetically. So when you root to specific beliefs about yourself, you start broadcasting that out into your energetic field, and that creates a reaction. So for you to be able to create sexual attraction, so we all have those people that have like that natural sexual draw. Like you're immediately like, wow, she's got sex appeal, right? Those people that have instant sex appeal. There's like a concoction of ingredients that causes that. And so I need to make sure that I'm not, because there's two different sexual attraction and sexual draw are two different things. So when you draw someone in, and sexual attraction is a different thing. So with those, basically, one of those, let me double check that I got the right one, because now I'm forgetting which one is which. Yeah, so basically with sexual attraction, when you want, or you feel like you want someone to sexually desire you, ingredients to that are you wanting to desire yourself. So feeling that and we all know those, right? Those people that, have that. They know that they're sexy. They know that they're attractive. So that still gives them that sexual draw and attraction. But why I'm talking about this is because it all comes down to how they view themselves. And then when it comes to sexual draw, so if someone is sexually drawn to you, that a lot of the time has to do with nothing to do with your actual sexuality, but has everything to do with your belief in your own capabilities. So if you feel like you're good at something or creative at something, then immediately you have sexual draw. I mean, I don't know about you, but when you see someone and they're very good at what they do, so they have a skill and they're so good at it, they're a master at it. So a guy that dances or plays the guitar really well, or even if they're just like very skilled at woodworking or painting or singing, I don't know, whatever. When they do that and they have a mastery over it and they're so good at it, doesn't it immediately make you more like want them more? So it all goes to show that everything that you believe about yourself and what you believe about how someone is attracted to you or not has nothing to do with you being good enough or not. It's how you view yourself. It's how you see yourself. It's how, if you believe you have a mastery over something, if you believe that you are creative, if you believe you have a hot body, if you believe you're desirable, other people are going to believe that about you. And then you have full control over what happens. Everything else is a communication from the universe that there is an emotional imbalance that you need to work on. And that is why you have some women that can draw in men like this, because they naturally have those ingredients, but then they may not have the ingredients to maintain a healthy relationship because of other imbalances that they're struggling with. Right? And each of us have a unique set of those things that we can work through and shift to create our desired result. And so feeling or being rejected by a partner has actually nothing to do with the partner not thinking you're good enough, the partner not thinking you're desirable enough. It has everything to do with how you view yourself, with how you treat yourself. It all comes down to self-image. And I hope that as you listen to this podcast, you start seeing that more and more and more, that you have the power to shift everything when you shift your own internal self-image. Everything starts to change, literally everything. And we have programs in the Goddess Academy where we dive into that stuff. And if you're interested and you want to dive into this in a more advanced level and you want to start shifting your self-image, reach out at info@nukesgoddessacademy.com. I will link the email below. I will also link our free membership below where you can access more amazing free content where you can start embodying your feminine power, your intuitive gifts, everything to start embodying your true, highest, strongest version of yourself so that you can literally mold your own entire reality. The dreams that you have, they are not far-fetched. They are there for a reason. And you have the capability to achieve anything that you desire in your life when you master these tools, when you start understanding how the universe works, that you have all these gifts yourself. You have the ability to do all of it. Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I also urge you, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. If you have any topics that you want us to cover inside this podcast, comment them below. I think I might send out a little survey to you guys at some point and hear your thoughts on what you want me to dive into more, because I am here to help you step into your power. And that is what this podcast is about. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much for listening to You Can Call Me Goddess. I am so happy that you joined us in this show today. If you feel like this podcast gave you any sort of life change or value, then share it with someone you think would also get a lot of value out of it, because maybe it could just be that one thing that changes that person's life. If you enjoyed the show, please give it a nice rating below or in the show, because we would love to expand more on topics that you enjoy and keep this podcast up and running. Anyways, thank you, beautiful, and I hope to see you in the next podcast.